A little over a year ago, Charles Gibson took up residence at ABC's Good Morning America set. He moved in after David Hartman packed up and moved on from GMA after 11 years. Gibson brought with him 20 years as a hard news reporter. But people wondered whether this serious reporter with a preppy wardrobe and stoic news stance could switch from newshound to host. They wondered because they only knew Charles Gibson. Now they know Charlie.
It happens to be every Sunday. Have the return of one of the people we most like to see.
It's good to be back, Charlie.
Good. Nice to have you here.
You're dead. You're dead means drop dead, die. Like everyone.
You and Charlie are a great pair. The rumors, I don't buy them. I didn't believe it previously. I don't believe it now.
We put on a good show, Charlie.
It's the lighter side of Charles Gibson that emerges when he settles into GMA's big blue living room. A Charlie who laughs a lot, usually at himself. He is light on his feet and quick with the wit. The boss was telling us, we asked why he hired you. He gave us a long list of reasons, but the first...
What were they?
I'm only going to tell you one, but the first one had to do with that you were the only person who could beat him in Jeopardy.
I don't know if I'd beat him or not, but I watched that show religiously. What's the only state in the Union whose name ends in K?
Oh, goodness, I don't know.
New York.
You love Jeopardy.
What state has the largest land mass east of the Mississippi?
East of the Mississippi.
Georgia.
Georgia! Georgia?
It's the final Jeopardy question the other night.
You're kidding me, Georgia.
I'm shocked. You live, you work in that state?
And I don't know.
But these are the critical things of our times. That's why we watch Jeopardy.
Mastery of trivia might be the best qualification for this job. Gibson's years as an ABC Capitol Hill correspondent prepared him for taking on the Middle East discussions.
There is a very volatile situation going on in the Persian Gulf, shooting between U.S. and Iranian ships.
But it's his generalized knowledge of just about anything that carries him from a chat with ex-MASH member Loretta Swit.
Was the real Korea like the Korea that you imagined?
To a musical forecast.
What's the lead?
How about a soggy day in the South?
Okay, a soggy day.
And that's the lead, and we'll show you what's to follow in just a moment. The weather forecast brought to you by Carnival Cruise Lines and Charlie's Crooning.
To banter with Billy Graham.
This is more of a learning visit for you or whatever. Do you hope to go back and do a crusade?
All in the course of a 2-hour show. That's the nature of broadcast news, morning style.
30 seconds, gang.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to make sure. Let's do this. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Charles Gibson.
And I'm Joan London.
Gibson has been at the ABC studios on New York's Broadway since 5 a.m. He's been awake since 3:45.
We genuinely have fun. The studio is a relaxed, comfortable, it's fun. And if it weren't true, I'd dodge around your questions somehow. But it is that way, and she's terrific.
She is Joan London, and together the pre-dawn duo is charged with giving America a 7 a.m. wake-up call and telling them what's happened overnight.
It is now 8:56. Jed Duval has another brief look at the stories making news this morning. Jed?
Joan, fighting in the Persian Gulf. American vessels
Hot news in the Persian Gulf has the news adrenaline in Gibson pumping this morning.
When a lot has happened, like this morning, those are the terrific days.
Charlie can be found checking a computerized wire service in the spare moments of the morning and chatting with the producer about the news.
On the wires. I mean, that's not just officials, but it's the basis of an NBC story.
But he knows the viewers aren't ready for all bad news to start the day. And he's learned to use his sense of humor to make the news more palatable.
Basically, they don't want me to do anything that's going to make you throw up your Post Toasties in the morning.
What other lessons have you learned since making the transition from correspondent to host?
Well, don't run off at the mouth so much. I keep watching the show and I keep thinking, why don't you shut up, Gibson? You're babbling on.
Now you have to be a jack of all trades and not necessarily a master at any of them. Is that for you difficult to do, or is it fairly simple?
Some think I fulfilled the latter part of that charge extraordinarily well, being master of none. Is it hard? No. I think after as many years as I was a reporter, you know, you have to be a quick study on stuff. You've got to be able to. So when you have an interview, your first thought is what's going to be interesting to people about this person. Second thought is what's the vulnerable part of this person.
What are your areas of vulnerability?
Wow, what a question. I embarrass very easily. I don't want to offend people, and I withdraw too easily if I think I've offended people. And I'm basically fairly shy. But for some reason, this business attracts shy people. I don't quite know why. Basically, when I go to a cocktail party, I'm very reticent and almost afraid to talk to people.
Let's talk about what this change in position has cost you in terms of your private life, because you're an all-around, that's one thing everybody said about you. You're a nice guy.
Did they?
Yeah.
God bless, they lie, don't they? You can get anybody to say anything. Well, they don't know anything to say about you. They just say he's a nice guy. And
not really.
Who knows any differently?
I mean, people who I've heard say nasty things about lots of folks, that you're basically, you have not changed personality-wise. That you're the same Charlie Gibson who started in the business smarter and older, but the personality is even-tempered, unselfish.
Bless your heart. Who said that? Where's that written down?
Seriously. How did you keep from not getting a big head?
I don't know. I don't. Somebody sent me a hat the other day, a baseball hat, 7 5/8. That's the biggest hat made. It fits fine, so maybe it has swelled up. I don't know.
Gibson has a collection of baseball hats, but his favorite is the one with the bird on the bill from the Baltimore Orioles. And last year, he gave that hat a workout.
Way to go, Charlie. Way to go.
First week I had this job, we were in Miami. Orioles do spring training in Miami. This is 1987. I went down to spring training, got to work out with them. They gave me my own uniform, said Gibson on the back, 00 was the number. They knew my batting average in high school. And, but I got to work out.
Charlie, you're not going to hit it. That's a good point. It's amazing. Look at that.
The Orioles are still #1 with Gibson, despite their record, and despite that he now lives in Met territory. Wife and life mate of 20 years, Arlene, and their daughters, Jennifer and Catherine, live in Summit, New Jersey. The girls are now 11 and 15.
Do you really try to keep the professional and the family man very separate when you walk out of this building?
Yep. My wife is a headmistress of a school, and I think she does something really important. She's teaching kids. We live right on the campus of the school. So I go home and I'm basically Mr. Arlene Gibson when I get there, and that's great. It really is terrific.
You look at correspondents who have had 1, 2, 3 wives, more than one wife. How has your marriage survived in a field like this?
This is my 6th wife.
I know that's not true.
I've been married 6 times, and I think one of the reasons is that I think it's very healthy in this business to have a wife who has a very strong interest in her own career. My wife has a very love-hate relationship with this network. I think she thinks that the second best thing I ever did was get hired by ABC, and the first best thing I'll ever do is get fired by them, which will eventually happen. And I don't think she'll be terribly sorry when that day comes, because you spend a lot of time at your job.
Absolutely. So we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Why are you so sure you're going to be fired one day by ABC?
Because it happens inevitably to all of us. It will happen to you at WSB. Our names are penciled in. Talent is an extraordinarily subjective thing, and they can decide you have it one day, and they can decide you don't have it the next.
Why can't you just walk away from it and fire them?
Maybe I will. But I like it too much, and I'll probably stay in it until they kick me out. And the day that they do, I'll write them a letter and thank them that I've had a good time.
After 1 year on Good Morning America, Gibson hasn't been able to pull the show up from its #2 spot. NBC's Today Show currently leads the morning pack.